Sound check one, ACPD, December 9th. Sound check one.
Ready? Hello, everybody. It's 4 o'clock. We're just waiting for quorum. We're now live. Welcome, everybody, to the Accessibility Committee for Persons with Disabilities for December 9th, 2025. We now have quorum. I will now commence a roll call. Please indicate your presence when I call your name. Ben Cullimore, Kara Hernold.
Present.
Thank you. Levi Genosi. Don't see him. Leif Johansson. Hello, Leif. Just need to hear that you can speak. Just move on. Okay. Hargan.
Present.
Yep, I'm here, James.
Thank you very much. Paula.
Yes.
Thank you. Jake is having technical issues, I believe. Mark.
I'm present.
Thank you. Tim Murphy, not here. Kim Nolan is not here yet. Tim Nolan.
Call from Angela Nolan.
Hi, Kim.
Tim Nolan is here. I can hear him.
Thanks about the parking. What I'll do is I'll call you when I'm on my way. I expect to get there somewhere between 6:45 and 7:15.
Okay.
And then we can.
Okay. That's okay. Robert Westbrook sent regrets. Councillor Mark Taddison.
Present.
And I am, of course, here. So would the staff who are present please introduce themselves with their name and position?
Sunil Angrish, Project Manager, Community Inclusion and Equity.
Thank you.
Carrie McIntosh, Legislative Coordinator.
Thank you.
Tamara Bates, Legislative Coordinator.
Thank you.
Michelle Martin, Manager of Accessible Transportation Services.
Thank you, Michelle.
Imogen Briggs, Placement Student with Community Engagement.
Thank you very much. And I believe that is everybody. Okay. I will call to order. As we have quorum present for today's meeting, I would like to call this meeting the Accessibility Committee for Persons with Disabilities to order. As well, a reminder that all electronic devices are to be switched to a non-audible function during committee meetings. First up is an appointment of a committee chair and vice chair. May I please have nominations for the position of ACPD?
James, I need to take over this.
Oh, sorry, it doesn't say that here.
Sorry.
It's all blue.
So this is Carrie McIntosh, Legislative Coordinator. I'm going to ask for nominations for the position of ACPD Chair for 2026. Kara?
I nominate James.
Is there a seconder to the nomination?
James, Mark. I'll nominate James.
Are there any other nominations?
Yes, I accept.
Okay, we have a mover in Kara and a seconder in Mark. All in favor? Any opposed? That's carried. Now we're moving on to the appointment of committee vice chair. May I please have nominations for the position of ACPD vice chair for 2026?
Nominate Paula.
Is there a seconder? Kara?
Mark. Yeah.
Are there any other nominations? Paula, do you accept the nomination? Yes, I do. Okay, We have a mover in James and a seconder in Kara. All in favor? Any opposed? And that carries. I will now turn the chair over to James. The city of Hamilton is situated upon the traditional territories of the Erie, Neutral, Huron-Wendat, Haudenosaunee, and Mississaugas. This land is covered by the Dish with One Spoon Wampum Belt Covenant, which was an agreement between the Haudenosaunee and Anishinaabeg to share and care for the resources around the Great Lakes. We further acknowledge that this land is covered by the Between the Lakes Purchase 1792 between the Crown and the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation. Today, the city of Hamilton is home to many Indigenous people from across Turtle Island, North America, and we recognize that we must do more to learn about the rich history of this land so that we can better understand our roles as residents, neighbors, partners, and caretakers.
Sorry, I forgot my microphone off. May I please have a mover and a seconder to approve the agenda as presented? Moved by Kara, seconded by Paula. Are there any amendments to the agenda? Oh, is that what we're doing? Okay.
Mr. Chair, we're going to change the order of items to deal with the most pressing issues on the agenda. So after the approval of minutes of the previous meeting, we will deal with item 8.1, budget submission, and the motions under 9. That's 9.1, 2, 3, and 4. And then we'll move on to the rest of the agenda.
Okay, do we need a mover to amend? No? Okay. So then, unless there is anything, anybody opposed, we're going to move the agenda as amended. I'm seeing none, then we will carry that. On to 8.1 then. Oh, sorry, declarations of interest. I'm getting a little confused. Are there any declarations of interest? I'm seeing none, thank you. 5, approval of minutes of the previous meeting, 5.1, August 12th, 2025, and 5.2, November 11th, 2025. May I please have a mover and a seconder to adopt the August 12th minutes as presented and receive the November 11th minutes? Moved by Paula, seconded by Mark. Thank you. Are there any discussion on the minutes? I'm seeing none. Thank you. So is there anybody opposed to moving the minutes as, adopting the minutes? Seeing none. Thank you. That's carried. So on to 8.1. Just skip ahead here. And ahead. Oh, there we go. 2021's budget submission. May I please have a mover and a seconder? For the 2026 budget.
Mark.
Mark, thank you. Seconded by? Seconded by Kara. Thank you very much. So that the following be referred to the mayor for consideration, the Accessibility Committee for Persons with Disabilities base budget submission in the amount of $23,172 for 2026. Is there any discussion on the budget submission? I'm seeing none. Okay, then we'll put it to the vote. Are there any opposed to moving the 2026 budget? And then that's carried. Thank you. Next up is motions. I have to relinquish the chair to Paula, please.
Okay, so I don't have the agenda in front of me, but the first motion is, what's the first motion?
I'm getting to it. Oh, it's in my second section. Sorry, I forgot there's a second section. 9.1 is delegation to the General Issues Committee respecting residential care facilities.
Okay, so that's James's motion. Do you have a seconder for that motion, James?
I do not.
Oh. Do we have somebody to second James's motion? And then we will read the motion and discuss. Thank you, Mark. Okay, James, would you like to read your motion, please?
Certainly. Whereas the Accessibility Committee for Persons with Disabilities has analyzed the issues with residential care facilities, RCF, in the city of Hamilton in order to make suggestions to improve the quality of life of residents and reverse the trend of residents choosing to live in encampments rather than utilize RCFs. Whereas the ACPD's Housing Working Group, HWG, has reviewed related sections of the city's licensing code, Schedule 20 residential care facilities guidelines, met with bylaw and public health, and has advocated on RCF residents' behalf with the Extreme Heat Working Group, which led
Oh, now what's happened?
sorry, just dealing with an issue. Sorry, Paul.
Okay. What's the matter? What's the problem, sir?
We're going to pause, I believe, for technical issues for 15 minutes. I think they're having some issues. We lost a member from.
Oh,
Apologies, everybody. And we have now left recess. Our technical errors have been sorted out. So thank you. I'm now going to hand the chair back to Paula so that I can finish reading, or I'm going to read from the beginning, the RCF
Yes,
motion.
please. Thank you. Thank you, James. Go ahead.
Thank you, Paula. Okay, so delegation to the General Issues Committee respecting residential care facilities. Whereas the Accessibility Committee for Persons with Disabilities has analyzed the issues with residential care facilities in the city of Hamilton in order to make suggestions to improve the quality of life of residents and reverse the trend of residents choosing to live in encampments rather than utilize RCFs. Whereas the ACPD's Housing Working Group has reviewed related sections of the city's licensing code, Schedule 20 residential care facilities guidelines, met with bylaw and public health, and has advocated on RCF residents' behalf with the Extreme Heat Working Group, which led to an air conditioning inspection being added to public health's annual inspection process. Whereas the ACPD's HWG has met with the Roundtable for Poverty Reduction, the Strategic Planning and Research Council, and the Hamilton Community Legal Clinic regarding conditions on RCFs. Whereas there is an upcoming housing report regarding RCFs, a recent report by the Social Planning and Research Council respecting personal needs allowance, a McMaster study, and St. Joseph's study due to be released soon. That the following members be approved to delegate to the General Issues Committee when the report respecting residential care facilities considered at a future meeting, and to share results of the Accessibility Committee for Persons with Disabilities finding respecting residential care facilities.
Okay, thank you, James. So who are the people that, is that what we're asking for? Is the people to delegate?
Yes.
Okay. So does anybody have any questions first about the motion? No? Okay. So what we're looking for is delegates at the General Issues Committee on this topic. Do we have anybody that's interested?
I will always be happy to delegate on behalf of RCS.
Right. James and anybody else? Seeing none. So the motion is then that James will delegate at the GIC on the RCS. All in, anybody against that? Seeing none? Ah, your motion is carried, James.
Thank you very much, Paula.
Okay, second motion. I know it's yours, James. Could you present?
I think we need a seconder first.
Oh, did we not get this?
Oh, sorry. It is the Ability First Annual Accessibility Fair, September 4th, 2026.
Okay. So can I have a seconder for this motion, please?
Kara has her hand up.
Kara, thank you. Okay, James, would you like to read the motion, please?
Thank you very much. Whereas the Accessibility Committee for Persons with Disabilities holds an annual accessibility fair, Ability First, that will be taking place on Friday, September 4th on the forecourt of City Hall from 11 a.m. until 3 p.m. Whereas the Accessibility Awards will be presented during the Ability First Accessibility Fair, highlighting accessibility trailblazers making a difference in our community. Whereas to ensure robust attendance and proper advertising, the Accessibility Committee for Persons with Disabilities Outreach Working Group needs to reach out to members of the public, community groups, local stakeholders, and media agencies in order to invite, organize, and promote the event. And whereas the budget attached as Appendix A for the Ability First Accessibility Fair and Accessibility Awards requires approval from the committee. Therefore, be it resolved that the Accessibility Committee for Persons with Disabilities be granted permission to speak to local agencies and the media for the purpose of organizing, inviting, and promoting the Ability First Annual Accessibility Fair taking place on Friday, September 4th on the forecourt of City Hall from 11 a.m. until 3 p.m. and that the 2026 Ability First Accessibility Fair and Accessibility Awards budget attached as Appendix A be approved.
Okay, thank you, James. Has everybody read the budget for the Accessibility Affair and awards? Does anybody need any more information on the budget? Seeing none, then I will ask for a vote. Anybody against the motion? Seeing none, motion is approved.
Thank you, Paula. Next motion is 9.3, delegation to the planning committee respecting accessible taxis.
Okay. Can I have a seconder for this motion? Can I second it?
Yes.
Mark.
Okay, Mark, you can have this one then. Okay. James, can you read the
Certainly.
motion, please? Sorry.
Delegation to the planning committee respecting accessible taxis. Whereas the Accessibility Committee for Persons with Disabilities, ACPD, has significant reservations about the current state of accessible taxis in the city of Hamilton. Whereas bylaw and licensing is reviewing the city's licensing code, Schedule 25, which includes the financial incentive program for accessible taxis. Where there are currently 14 accessible taxis participating in the Accessible Taxi Financial Incentive Program, including both Blue Line and Hamilton Cab. Whereas if there's no effort made to correct the situation, the city will have no more accessible taxis on the road by 2027, and there needs to be a plan to rectify the situation. Therefore, be it resolved that the following members be approved to delegate to the planning committee when the city's licensing code Schedule 25 or accessible taxis is considered at a future meeting.
Thank you, James. By the way, there's only 12 now. We've lost 2 more. So does anybody want to delegate to the planning committee? I will.
I think Kara would like to.
Kara, did you want to?
Sure. Yes, please. Thank you.
Okay. James? Are you going to delegate?
I would certainly delegate, certainly.
Okay. 3 of us. Anybody else? Okay. So the motion, oh, Mark as well. Okay.
Yeah.
So the motion is that Mark, Kara, James, and myself will delegate to the planning committee. I'm not sure when that is. Do we have a date, James?
No, we do not yet.
Okay. So can I have a vote? Anybody against that? Nope. Then your motion is carried, James.
Thank you very much, Paula.
Okay.
Okay, and the last one is 9.4, correspondence respecting lack of on-demand transport and the collapse of the Accessible Taxi Financial Incentive Program.
Okay, can I have a seconder for this? Can I second this one?
Yes,
Is that
you may.
allowed, Carrie? Yeah? Okay, I will second it. James, can you then read the motion, please?
Certainly. Whereas the Accessibility Committee for Persons with Disabilities has prepared correspondence for council regarding significant concerns about the lack of on-demand transport and the collapse of the Accessible Taxi Financial Incentive Program. Whereas the rideshare companies are not providing accessible services in accordance with the Accessibility with Ontario's Disabilities Act and must either pay their full share or provide full service. And whereas our taxi industry is quickly reaching a crisis and needs support, and accessible on-demand transportation is required to fill the many gaps in our conventional accessible transit and paratransit services. Therefore, be it resolved that the Accessibility Committee for Persons with Disabilities forward the correspondence detached as Appendix A to Council, highlighting concerns with lack of on-demand transport and the collapse of the Accessible Taxi Financial Incentive Program, as well as the urgency of the matter in order to highlight the need for rapid action.
Thank you, James. Has anybody read the letter that James composed with my help? Does anybody want him to read the letter that is attached to this motion? No?
Yeah. You don't mind.
Okay.
James, can you read the letter?
No, our agenda is really jammed. Everybody should have had a chance to read it. If we had time, yes.
Okay.
Okay, but I don't know how you can vote on it if we haven't read it, if they haven't read it. So I don't know how we, what do we do, Carrie?
It's been on the.
Just vote on it, Paula.
Okay. Okay, I'm going to take a vote then.
It's on the public agenda.
Yes, I know it is. Anybody against this motion and the attached letter? No? Okay, motion carried.
Mark, were you trying to say something?
No, no.
Okay. So then where do we go from here? 7.1. Okay, I will
Okay,
take the chair
can I-
back now. Oh,
Yeah, okay, go on. Take it back, and then I want to ask a question before you go on.
okay, go ahead,
If-
Paula.
If Tim was having problems with hearing or speaking, does that affect the vote for the chair and the vice chair?
As far as we know, he was in the meeting for that section.
Were you, Tim? I just want to clarify, that's all.
No, I was not in the meeting for that section. I could not hear anything. So fundamentally, by the time I wrote my email to Carrie to say I am fundamentally absent from the meeting, that whole time from when the meeting started until that email was received by Carrie, I was absent during that entire period.
Okay, I guess we will go back to appointment of committee chair and vice chair and do a revote.
I'm sorry, Kat. I just wanted to make sure we were doing it right.
Okay, so may I please have nominations for the position of ACPD chair for 2026?
You can say that you don't have to redo it. You can say what happened.
Kara nominated James and Mark seconded James, and there were no other nominations. Are there any other nominations? All in favor? Any opposed? Okay, and the second item on the agenda is the appointment of committee vice chair. James nominated Paula as vice chair and Kara seconded Paula as vice chair. Paula accepted the nomination. Are there any other nominations? Okay, seeing none. All in favor? Any opposed? That's carried.
Thank you, Carrie.
Chair.
Okay, James, I guess it's yours now.
Sorry, my mic was off, sorry. In the interest of time, we are going to hear all the items for information 7.1 to 7.9 and then receive them together at the end. 7.1, Personal Needs Allowance Report from the Social Planning and Research Council of Hamilton. Sarah Mayo, Social Planning and Research Council of Hamilton, has been invited to provide a presentation. Sarah, the floor is yours.
Okay. Hi, thank you so much for the invitation. So I'm Sarah Mayo at the Social Planning and Research Council, and this report, if I just can go back to this and there we go. This report is in memory of Lance Dingman. Many of you knew Lance, has been active in many years, for many years in Hamilton, obviously. And you see him in the bottom right of this picture. This was in 2001 at Queen's Park. The Coalition of Residential Care Facility Tenants that he was the leader of came to Queen's Park to advocate for the increases to the personal needs allowance at that time. And here we are 25 years later, still working on the issue. And he unfortunately passed away this past summer. But it really is his work that this report is built on. I learned a lot from him in discussing this issue, along with many others. So I'm just going to briefly present the report and then also just talk about last week at City Council, at GIC, there was the RCF subsidy modernization, which includes some improvements to the PNA. This chart, there's a link to a screen reader friendly version. And this chart kind of just has a lot of words, but essentially the small numbers at the top are the focus of this report. The special border allowance and the personal needs allowance, part of the Ontario Works and ODSP, especially this report focuses on ODSP. Part of what some beneficiaries on ODSP receive in personal income. Anyone on ODSP who receives food and lodge from the same source is not eligible for regular ODSP rates. They can only get board and lodge rate plus the special border allowance for a total of $1,065. This includes living situations with family members, small private landlords who offer room and board, groups homes for people with developmental disabilities, and tenants in residential care facilities. And in Ontario, there's a researcher at Carleton, Kendall David, who has found in her research that 14,000 ODSP recipients reside in institutions receiving $149 a month, which is the level of the personal needs allowance. And another 48,000 ODSP recipients are boarders receiving a personal income of only $71 as a special border allowance. In total, about 18% of the ODSP caseload. In Hamilton, there's about 700 tenants in RCFs receiving only $149 a month. And then there's a broader group, probably around 4,000. The exact number is not known though, who are receiving either the special border allowance or the personal needs allowance. The personal needs allowance has not increased since 2019, and it has never kept up with inflation. And even in 1992, when it was 112, the Ernie Lightman Commission on Unregulated Housing, the #1 complaint of tenants at that time was that it was inadequate. So even that inadequate amount has lost half its value since that time. Just seeing this. It's obviously a moral failing of the provincial government that this group of persons with disabilities has such low levels and of income, and that this ODSP amount is not increased with inflation, unlike other ODSP rates, including the board and lodge rate that the landlord receives. That is increased by inflation, but the PNA is not, or the SBA. These are some of the many items that someone in an RCF and other situations has to pay for themselves out of the meager PNA or SBA amount. And RCFs don't have internet. The vast majority don't have internet, and so even that would have to be paid for if you wanted it at home. And one of the challenges with RCFs is that there's this big drop in income because this low PNA amount means that if you are living in a shelter or encampment, for example, or and you are receiving the basic needs amount, you wouldn't receive the shelter amount, but you're receiving the ODSP basic needs amount, and you're offered a place in an RCF, you then find out that, oh, but my income would change from $809 a month to $149. Yes, your meals would be paid, but it would be provided, but you wouldn't have much control over those meals. So a lot of people don't. And then the other problems with RCFs in terms of lack of privacy and not being able to bring friends over much and things like that. So there's a lot of the financial component. The financial drop in income is a big part of the crisis in RCFs. Kendall David's research is also mentioned in our report, and there's a link here to this great issue of Phoenix Rising about RCFs at the time. And it's been an issue, obviously, for a long time. And she talks about how this group of people, because they're living in collective dwellings, they're not included in any surveys about disabilities. So it's really a population that doesn't get enough attention. And the report proposes a remedy of scrapping entirely the PNA and SBA with a new human dignity allowance equal to the ODSP basic needs amount, and that annual inflation increases be mandated. And obviously, in the broader context of social assistance being inadequate, ODSP and doubling of ODSP and OW is also needed. And then briefly, I'll just talk about the city's RCF subsidy modernization plan, which came to GIC last week. Their general goals are to have RCFs focus on a population that has experienced homelessness and moving away from per diem to annual funding based on supports tailored to the needs of people who have challenges maintaining housing independently. And the great news is that the new model will allow tenants to pay less rent and keep more income. So that's a huge improvement over current PNA levels to a minimum of $386 in personal income. And but this would only be for RCF tenants. It wouldn't include other people who are in other situations where they're getting PNA or SBA. And so the city is saying that over the next 4 to 6 months, they're going to be doing more consultations and develop an implementation plan. And likely they will pilot changes with interested providers who want to change to the new model first. Some RCFs may close or no longer have subsidized beds. Even without these changes, many RCFs have already closed and more will close regardless of the new model. It seems from the evidence we've seen so far. And the city is committed to helping tenants through this transition and avoid evictions. This will be a years-long transition. This is a slide from their presentation, and I added some stars. So the basic model is going to be this contract funding, so annual funding. The RCFs are going to specialize in terms of service, whether they're specializing in a low acuity population, medium acuity population, or high acuity population. Resident income will more than double, which is great news. This assumes the province is not going to there's a regulation in OW that prevents people from receiving more than the provincial PNA. But so hopefully, assuming that they don't extend that to ODSP, then this will be able to happen. The major change is that tenants will have more independence in food choices, and this is another major change, and many will be supported to make their own meals. And the funding levels, so because people will be paying less rent so that they can keep more of their own income, there will either be a higher budget needed or fewer beds will be able to be subsidized, and that is still yet to be decided and will also depend on the levels of service that are offered. So food and meal preparation is going to change. And one interesting thing in this report was that they had data for the first time on average food spending. 6 operators gave them detailed information, and it turns out that operators are only spending about $6 a day on food, which is less than the nutritious food basket, which is around $9 for a middle-aged person. So we're calling at a minimum that the new model should require $9 a day in nutritious food basket money. And there we go. Lastly, we're just separately from these issues, the SPRC and the Hamilton Roundtable for Poverty Reduction and others are going to try to help people access, living in RCFs, access the Canada Disability Benefit to also increase their income. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sarah. Is there anybody that has any questions or thoughts for Sarah on this excellent report? I see Hargan's hand up.
Yeah, I just had a quick clarification question. I'm just wondering if you could clarify that caveat that you had made about the OW versus ODSP directive and how that would affect the proposed plan.
Yeah, OW has a directive 611 that says that that municipalities can kind of basically increase for residents living in RCF type accommodation. If they're on OW, the maximum that OW will let them have is set at the PNA level, which is $149. There's only about 1% of residents in RCFs that are on OW, and almost all of those would be on ODSP very soon. So it would be unlikely that it will affect many people, that regulation. And ODSP does not have such a regulation. I don't know why. As we know, so many of these rules in social assistance are very hard to understand and very hard to understand what the goal is. And so assuming it's just a risk that will the province put barriers. It's not going to cost them more money, so hopefully not, but it's just something that I know some are a bit worried that this OW directive might be brought into ODSP as well.
Thank you for clarifying. And I just had one question. I know you answered this in the presentation, but I just missed it. Who would be eligible for the funding if they're not at an RCF? And because I know you mentioned that subgroup would not be eligible for this increase. So I'm just wondering who that would include.
Who would be, maybe just a clarification of the question, who would be eligible?
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I maybe just say it again and it'll jog my memory of what.
Yeah, so I was just wondering, I think you mentioned that there are individuals who would get the PNA that are not living at an RCF, right, and they would not be eligible for that. So I'm just wondering what group is that? Like, who would that include?
Yeah, so the Ontario research from Kendall David has shown that about 18% of the ODSP caseload lives in a situation where they get the same, where they pay rent, room and board, and where they get food and rent from and housing from the same source. As soon as that situation happens, that is considered room and board, and they get this board and lodging rate and not regular ODSP. So 18% of the caseload in Hamilton, that's about 4,000 people. Wide variety of housing situations, many of which are people living with their family members, and also with private landlords who offer a sort of very minimal, just kind of room and board situation that is not regulated in any way. And then it would be in other community-based housing with supports. There are some others as well that are not subsidized by the city but might get provincial funding.
Sounds good. So it's provincial funding that's provided generally when there is some element of those types of housing that you mentioned. Is that correct?
Yeah, so like group homes for people with developmental disabilities would be one example.
Okay, thank you so much for clarifying.
Thanks very much, Hargan. Any other questions for Sarah? I'm not seeing any. I want to say thank you very much for coming. I did appreciate your report. I look forward to working with you in the future. Sorry, Tim, did you want to say something?
Nope.
Oh, okay, sorry. Okay. Thank you for coming, and look forward to working again soon.
Thank you.
Okay, I have to relinquish the chair, it says, Paula.
Am I on or off? Oh,
You're on now.
oh, there we go. Okay, James.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So we're doing 7.2, Built Environment Working Group update. There is no verbal update. Built hasn't met in a couple of months. We're having some issues having staff attend. Hopefully we'll have that cleared up in the new year. So that's all I have for Built Environment at the moment.
Okay, next.
Next is 7.3, the Housing Working Group. We have a couple of sets of meeting notes here. First is from September 16th, met with City Housing Hamilton, where they laid out their new organizational structure. They're splitting up maintenance with tenant services so that, tenants that are having housing issues can deal with the tenant service coordinator, and then the maintenance issues are being handled with somebody else. Furthermore, they're responding with more staff, more people to assist people in crisis, who I believe are only working on a few caseloads at a time, so that they're making sure that nobody falls through the cracks. We also discussed their media. They produced 2 posters. One of them was absolutely unreadable, and the other one was an excellent example of good communication and accessible design. So it was good to go through both of them, and so that they could understand what was good and what was bad. Second meeting, October 21st, as Paula and I met, and we reviewed the P&A report that just came before us.
Okay, next, James.
7.4, Outreach Working Group update. We met 3 times since this meeting. Outreach Working Group meeting note September 16th, 2025. That's when we did the review of the fair, which it went really well. We did have some rain issues, some issues with Union Group. We had to redesign it all on the fly. I credit Lauren and Sunil for really coming together and helping put that together, especially the chaos of the morning. So I want to thank Sunil and Lauren. I want to thank Carrie. I want to thank all the other staff that was involved. At the moment, everybody's name escapes me, so I don't want to list everybody else in case I forget them. I want to thank the mayor, the members of council, the exhibitors, the attendees, the volunteers, and members of ACPD. It was a good day, and I look forward to doing it again. But I just want to mention that these notes are the most detailed review we've done so far. So hopefully, if anybody's following after us, they'll be able to follow along how we did things. Outreach Working Group meeting notes for October 21st, 2025 was when we first started to do the planning for next year's event. Yeah, we just put one away and we start all over again. That's when we set the date for September 4th, which is a Friday. It's the only day on the first week of September that does not have a council meeting. So that is the day that we have. It is before school starts, so we really are trying to pick a date that we can get a younger crowd to attend. I think that's it. We just discussed planning and advertising. Moving on to C, Outreach Working Group meeting notes, November 26th. Again, we went on with the planning. We discussed media design. We discussed website redesign. I have a proposal as an appendix for this particular meeting, which I can read out. Let's see, what else did we discuss? Sorry, I'm just having a brain fade, too many meetings. We discussed something that Councillor Taddison brought up as a recruitment drive for volunteers for working groups so that we can get some new people into working groups to help lighten the load. Did that proposal get onto the agenda, or is that, it did? Okay, so that proposal is also on the agenda. I'll read that out in a second. I think that's all I have for that particular meeting. Are there any questions on that before I go through the proposals quickly?
Don't see any, James.
Okay. Well, just let me call it up here. Okay, Appendix A. Outreach Working Group, website redesign recommendations. I'm just going to read this out quickly. The current website is through WordPress and is accessibility fair-based, and even the accessibility awards are a submenu of the fair. While the website has been serviceable and as accessible as the designer skill level could make it, there are difficulties that need to be overcome. The ACPD is empowered to engage in public education as part of our responsibilities in Accessibility Advisory Committee. Having the Hamilton ACPD.ca website fair-centered precludes us from having educational informational modules as needed. Another suggestion is to have a hot topic section to highlight points of interest or to list the current work of the various working groups. Design will consist of a header with a triple H ACPD logo and the name listed. Landing page will have the various sections modules listed. Each section will then contain a submenu. Website navigation will be inserted through multiple navigation options. Current accessibility features will remain, but it is also a goal to add audio prompts if it can be done correctly. Website will be designed as mobile-based first to ensure it can scale up correctly. In researching the price of a complete redesign, we found that there was a large scale dependent on what was requested. Anywhere from $1,000 to $6,000 is an approximate range, and none of them advertised their work as either WCAG 2.2 compliant or EN 301-549 functional. We already have an established relationship with a third-year graphic design Mohawk student and knows how we need things and is willing to set aside some time during his last semester. His recent work for this committee impressed his professors and allowed him to educate them on aspects of accessible design that they were unfamiliar with. Accessible design is a particular concern in the digital realm for various reasons, and while not an expert, James Jr. is the best we have available and has proven his ability. As there is a conflict, I will not be raising the issue of compensation. It was raised by others, and they can move a motion to that effect at that time. The design process will first require what's called wireframing, and it is our hope that it will make it easy for everyone to understand regardless of vision. This is essentially a blueprint of what the finished product will look like and looks a lot like a flow chart. We already added funds to this year's website cost for a 2-month subscription to the 2025 budget in anticipation of this work. We will present this to the committee and review it for corrections before moving to the next step. Then the design work begins. The website is designed without images and colors using placeholders. Last step is the addition of color and imagery. ACPD will have a chance to review at each step. It is our hope that the website can be ready to go live by May, June, so that it means it needs to be approved by ACPD in April, May. When the motion for approval goes forward, we need to ensure there's language that allows the OWG to oversee the website and allow for more rapid changes with the current design. If pushers need to be added, it would have to go all the way to council for approval. All updating decisions made after website creation from OWG will be presented to ACPD for ratification. Chair will assume webmaster responsibilities unless another member wishes to be responsible for this, which I will by all means try and help teach somebody if they would like to. This is valuable work and needs to be done for our committee to continue to grow. It is a logical next step to the work that has come before, and we happen to have skilled labor at our disposal. So that's the proposal. I was asked to put that before you by another member so that everybody's aware of what our planning is and what our next steps are. I believe the next step would be have a motion with some actual details, but I don't want to go through the process of setting that all up unless I'm sure that everybody's in agreement. So does anybody have any comments? Oh, sorry, I'm not chair.
No, you're not. It's okay. Anybody have any questions? Did everybody? I didn't understand half of it, but it sounds good to me. I know what he's trying to do, but anybody have any questions about it or any suggestions or additions? No? Okay. Then what do we do? Are we accepting this? Are we having a vote on this? Sorry?
We accept all at the end, right?
Okay.
Yes, we accept all at the end.
Okay. 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 Thank you, James. Move on.
Appendix B is not in here, so I don't think I can read it, can I?
What's that?
Pardon me, hang on a second.
That's okay. Is there another part to it?
Oh, okay. It's just not in my package. I have a copy though. Okay, then I will just read. It's the Outreach Working Group recommendations on recruiting volunteer participation on all ACPD working groups. We recently learned that the selection committee has decided to not select new members, and we're going to have our current complement. As the available working groups member numbers dwindle, there are some concerns about maintaining workloads and about ensuring a full array of perspectives are available to weigh in on any accessibility-related subject. Given that we will not be receiving new members, we should pivot and adapt so we can continue to move forward. Councillor Edison provided an excellent suggestion that we could recruit members to the working groups directly, as there are no limits on how many residents can serve on a working group. After review at the last OWG meeting, we discussed possible advantages to moving in this direction. It will potentially revitalize the energy of the working groups, bringing in new skill sets and life experiences, share some of the workload of each group, and give the volunteers a chance to learn about our committee to see if they would like to be a member when the new term is selected. Instead of acting in a passive fashion and hope people find us, and the best way to get this moving quickly is to invest money into advertising. Being a governmental group has proven challenging as we are not able to access the volunteer networks available to nonprofits. It was suggested that we may want to access students or hire a social media coordinator as well. These are potential solutions for the future, but if we want to have new members as quickly as possible, putting forward an advertising package is the most advisable for now. We can approach Mohawk regarding placement for the next year. If ACPD concurs with this proposal and wishes to move forward, the OWG will create advertising for their approval at the next meeting and potential budgeting and advertising options as well as recruitment windows. This would be drawn from the ACPD reserve account.
Okay. Any questions about this?
Tim here, I have a question.
Yes, Tim.
Do we have any current ACPD members not currently serving on a working group?
Yes.
Is there anything we can do to encourage current ACPD members to join a working group as a first step?
I've been encouraging members. There's only so much pressure that I feel comfortable exerting on members, given everybody's got some issues and challenges that they're facing.
I don't, I can't say anything.
Which groups do we need people on?
All working groups need some new energy. There's only 2 or 3 people showing up to meetings at this point. Typically, only about half of the complement show up to a working group meeting. So the more people that we get, the more people we get to show up at the meetings.
Okay.
PWG is the only one that gets the most, actually. Can a letter be sent? Oh. Can I pass the chair to Mark for a minute? If he's still there, or Tim, somebody. Tim, will you take the chair for a minute, please?
Sure.
Okay. Can we send a letter to all all committee members asking them what they're interested in, whether they would be interested in coming on the working group as well as doing any advertising?
I have done that. I can do that again.
Okay, because, sometimes we forget that there are working groups. Okay, thank you. I'll take back the chair, Tim.
Okay, I have another question, if I may.
Yes, sir.
Did we not approve a motion at ACPD at a previous time? And so through you, Madam Chair, to carry, did we not approve a motion where all committee members were obligated to be a member of at least one working group? And did that make its way into the terms of reference for this committee?
Through the chair, there may be something in the terms of reference that references participation of members, but there was never a motion or a mandate that they have to be part of a working group.
Okay.
I mean, then, if that's the case, I mean, it's difficult to, I mean, the idea of having community members participate on working groups is a really good idea. It's not a new idea, but it's a good idea. We've discussed this at this committee here before, and we've not acted on it for various reasons. But it is a good idea. However, I mean, an alternative is to, because we had no business in the month of September and the month of October, there was insufficient business for this committee to proceed. We could fundamentally reduce the number of working groups and bring the business of those working groups here to the main committee. That is another option.
Anybody have an answer for that or a comment? Or?
Well, I do. Working groups do things that are better dealt with in working groups where they're not on public record, not required to have an agenda, not required to be publicly available, where people feel more comfortable discussing ideas and brainstorming. ACPD meetings are formal, and a lot of people have mentioned to me that they don't feel entirely comfortable providing input that might be recorded forever.
Anybody else have anything to say?
Paula, Councillor Taddison and Kara have their hands up.
Okay, who was first? Councillor Taddison.
Hi, I just wanted to say all very good comments about, improving capacity for working groups. I brought this forward because I just felt that, we were strapped because the selection committee wasn't going to conduct more interviews. They attempted to conduct interviews, but people, for whatever reasons, didn't show up to those interviews. So we didn't have anyone to place on there. So I thought, why don't we try this for the working groups? And then that's a good way to bring people in and to kind of show them, what ACPD is all about in the sense of, participating at that ground level. I've already had 2 people that have come in to meet other counselors that instantly I basically met them because I was the only counselor in the building at the time. And both of them shared with me that they had disabilities. And then I shared with them that I sit on ACPD and that we have a need for people with working groups. And both of them volunteered to have their names put forward. And so I can reach out to James and share those names with him. But again, we need to pass this, I guess, a motion or whatever the procedure is called first in order to initiate that process. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Taddison. Who was the other person? Sorry, Carrie, was it?
I was just informed that councillors are able to put the in their newsletters that we're looking for people.
Well, that's a cool idea. Wow. Okay. Who else had their hand up? Sorry, Carrie, who was it?
I believe it's Kara.
Kara?
Yeah, I think James really conveyed my thoughts quite well, and the fact that moving the working group activity to the main committee may not be the most time effective and effective for brainstorming and kind of doing the heavy lifting. So I'll leave it there.
Thank you, Carrie. Tim, will you take the chair for a minute, please?
Yes.
Does it not say that we're allowed to have volunteers as needed on working groups in our bylaws? Carrie?
Hi, Paula. Through the chair. You are the chair.
No, Tim's the chair right now.
Tim's the chair. Yeah. You can have volunteers on working groups.
I thought so. So do we need this proposal? I mean, if it's in the bylaws, do we need this proposal? That's all I'm saying. Sorry.
In answer to that, Paula, the proposal is to reach out and do advertising in the public on social media and whatnot.
Okay. We got off topic then. Okay. Sorry. Thank you. I'll take back the chair, Tim. Thank you.
Yep.
Okay then. So just so we're clear on this, there's no more questions, and everybody's okay with this. Should these two proposals be voted on separately, Carrie, to the other things?
Sorry, to clarify, Paula, these are just proposals. The motions were coming next month. We just wanted to make sure that the committee was on board with what we were talking about.
Okay, I just want to get it right, so I'm not screwing up, that's all. Okay. Okay, thank you. Next, James. I know you're next again, so.
Next is 7.5, Strategic Planning Working Group update. The verbal update is we are meeting tomorrow. We are discussing the Community Liaison Group review of our TOR, our terms of reference. We've already determined that there isn't much that we can update, but to go through the process, we're going to review the TOR and see what we can do to change that. There's also somebody from Hamilton.ca is going to come, and I can't remember her name. Catherine, it starts with a C or a K or something. I can't remember. She's going to come and start working with us on improving the digital environment of the city of Hamilton. So we're going to speak with her as well tomorrow. Okay. Hello? We've lost Paula, but we still have Tim and Kim, so we haven't lost quorum yet.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Then I will take back the chair from the empty window. Okay, Transportation Working Group, which is kind of difficult, I guess, with Paula missing. 7.6, we have A, Accessible Transportation Services Policy Review Meeting Note, September 26th. I don't really skip it. Yeah. Okay. Moving on to B, Accessible Transportation Services Performance Review, Q2 2025. The presentation was provided informally at the November 11, 2025 meeting, in which quorum was not achieved, but the item needs to be received. Is there any discussion on the Q2 review? No. Okay. Open Spaces and Parklands Working Group update. Is there a verbal update?
No update.
Thank you very much, Tim. Customer Relationship Management, 7.8. The presentation was provided informally at the November 11, 2025 meeting, in which quorum was not achieved, but the item needs to be received. This is when they talked about the new portal, them testing out forms. Does anybody have any discussion on that issue?
I have a question.
Go ahead, Tim.
There have been requests that have gone out to people with disabilities to test the site. City spends an awful lot of money on creating these websites and portals, et cetera, et cetera. Is there any consideration on the part of the city that people with disabilities who are being asked to do this voluntarily should actually be paid? Given how much money the city is likely spending on the production, it seems reasonable that people with disabilities shouldn't be asked to do this stuff gratis. I think people should be paid to test the site.
As far as I understand, the staff are consulting with the committee as part of our responsibilities. I can't speak to being paid. That's not my department.
I appreciate that, but the question goes to the city. Why is the city, if the city, and maybe through you, Chair, to Councillor Taddison, why is the city not paying for this service? The advisory committee is an advisory committee, and I appreciate that we are advisors to staff as well as to council. However, I don't think it's in our terms of reference that we be testers of digital media. Our job is to provide advice on digital media, not to be people who test the sites.
So Tim, are you looking for a response from myself, Councillor Tattison?
Yes, you or staff for that matter.
Yeah, I wouldn't have an answer for you on that. I wouldn't, like I said, it's beyond my depth of understanding with the IT. We could always, I could always reach out to the Director of Information Technology and ask that question that you're, and bring that back.
Yes, thank you. And maybe that can be done through you to IT or through staff to IT. Like at the end of the day, this committee is obligated to provide advice, and we do that. But we are not obligated to be beta testers. That's not our job.
I think the city might view that, Tim, as advice when you actually give feedback on a website or something like that. But again, I'm not certain what the specifics are of what they're asking you to do online.
And I appreciate that.
Okay.
But I don't think it's in our terms of reference that we become beta testers on digital media products. And
I can appreciate that.
Right. And why is the city trying to save money on the backs of people with disabilities? Again,
I just don't see, Tim, I just don't know if they'd see it through that, through the lens that they view it. They're probably not seeing it that way. They're probably reaching out for information, and the way that you're viewing it is probably legitimate, but I don't think the people that would be asking, I think that they would retract from the statements if that's how they felt that it was making you feel. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes, but I might also add that
I have to say,
no, let me finish. There are accessibility specialists who do this work, and they can do the work as a consultant to the city if the city was actually seeking to hire those companies to produce accessible websites and accessible digital interface systems, etc.
I appreciate that, Tim, and I can follow up with that.
Yeah, great. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Please direct questions through the chair. Let's try and avoid crosstalk.
Sorry, Chair.
That's
Sorry,
okay.
Chair.
Can I say something, Chair?
Oh, Paula's back. Okay, good. Go
I'm
ahead.
back. I don't know what happened. It died. We have asked on this committee to have input into those things. So that's why they're asking, I'm sure, because we've always said we're here to help and to find out whether these things are accessible. So from what I'm understanding is, from what Tim says, we're contradicting ourselves now because we've asked to be part of the solution in making websites and forums and everything accessible. So, that's just my comments.
Thank you, Paula.
If I may respond to that, Mr. Chair.
Okay, very quickly, but then we have to move on from this.
I think what Paul is referring to is we have been asked if we would be willing to do it, and the answer was yes, but we did not ask if we could be the beta testers. We have never asked to become the beta systems. I don't even know what the right word is, but the beta testers for city products.
Okay, thanks very much, Tim. I'm sure talk about this again. I do want to mention that lived experience and paid issue is actually a topic in several fronts, which some movement, for example, the appeals process for the HSR, I believe, is now going to be a paid process. Okay. Moving on to 7.9, request for information, transportation network companies for persons with disabilities. The memo was discussed informally at the November 11, 2025 meeting in which quorum was not achieved, but the item needs to be received. This is where HSR came and brought us their response to the RFI that went out in the spring. Is there any discussion on this matter? No? Okay, thank you.
No.
Okay, may I please have a mover and a seconder to receive items 7.1 to 7.9?
I move.
Moved by Paula, seconded by
Kim.
Councillor Tattison. Thank you very much.
Or Kim.
Oh, Kim.
More Kim. Is there any discussion on the matter? Okay, none. Then is there anybody opposed? Then the communications items have been received. On to, what are we on to next? General information, other business. Does anybody have any general information, other business they would like to bring up at this time?
Did we do the other one, James? We did the motions, but did we do the other? Did you read the other about the motions that are coming up?
Notices of motion? We don't have notices
Yeah.
of motion on the books.
Oh, we don't? Okay.
No.
I thought we did, but anyway, I'm dreaming.
Okay, I do have some information. Paul, if you could take the chair.
I will take the chair, sir.
I attended the Community Safety and Wellbeing launch event. Well, I attended the Safety Summit on the 10th, and then I attended the launch event on the 20th. I was a panelist. I brought a lived experience to the panel. It was quite well received. We did some good work in the breakout sessions. While accessibility has not been covered in the current community safety and well-being plan, in the future, I am hoping to have it added.
This is Anna.
Hi, Anna.
I wanted to know, you made the visit tonight?
Sorry.
No, that's okay.
Okay, Tim took it out.
Oh, okay. Sorry, where was I? So that was well received. Hopefully, in the next incarnations of the Community Safety and Wellbeing Plan, or wellness, whatever it is, we'll have more input. I believe I had something else that I wanted to talk about, but I can't remember at this point. It's been a crazy meeting. So I think I'll take the chair back. Yeah.
Kara, can you take the chair a minute? This chair's going around.
Sure, yes. Yes, go ahead.
The breakout groups in this wellness community, whatever it was called. Do we get to see those? What happened in those breakout groups? Do we get to see the notes, James? Can we get to see the notes?
I have not received any notes, but I can ask Mohammed if we can access the notes. I know that there was people in each breakout session recording what people were saying as they could catch them. So there should be notes available somewhere. I'll see if we can get them for the committee's review.
Thank you. I think it would be very helpful to know what was talked about and what was, suggested. Okay?
Okay.
Thank you. I will take back the chair, Kara. Thank you.
You're very welcome, Paula.
James, anything else you have, sir?
I can't remember at the moment. I'm sure I will remember
okay.
after we leave.
That's okay. That's okay. Okay, you can have the chair back then.
Thank you very much. So if there is no other general information or other business? No? All right. Wow, we actually made good time then. So I would like to adjourn the meeting. There being no further business, this meeting is now adjourned at 5:50. Thank you very much, everybody. I really appreciate you all coming out, and you have yourselves a wonderful day and a wonderful holiday. I look forward to seeing you all in January.
Right. Yeah.